Black boy, I know how to make your daughter wake up. The millionaire laughed until miracle happened. The monitors beeped steadily, but there was no comfort in their rhythm. Lily Reeves, just 8 years old, lay motionless beneath a soft blue blanket in a high-end hospital bed surrounded by wires, tubes, and cold machinery. Her blonde hair was neatly brushed, her tiny fingers resting lifeless on her stomach. A breathing mask hissed gently, the only sound besides the heart monitor's lonely pulse. She had collapsed on stage 5 days ago during her school recital. One moment she was singing. The next, her knees buckled, her eyes rolled back, and her body hit the floor with a sound that had haunted her father every night since. A rare neurological event, they said. A seizure so severe it forced her brain into a protective coma. But no one could explain why she hadn't woken up since. Not the 5 neurologists flown in from abroad. Not the 3 specialists brought in at astronomical cost. Not even the machines monitoring her brain could offer real answers. Just silence. And a father at the edge of breaking. Alton Reeves, once hailed as one of the most ruthless deal makers on Wall Street, now sat in silence beside his daughter's bed. Gone were the polished speeches and boardroom confidence. His suit was wrinkled, his eyes sunken from sleepless nights. He would have given away every cent just to hear her laugh again, but no amount of money could reach her. It was just past noon when the door cracked open. A nurse stepped in, her face uncertain. "Mr. Reeves, there's a child outside who says he needs to see your daughter." Alton blinked. "A child? Who?" I'm not sure. He's not with a guardian. He looks—" She hesitated. "Homeless?" Alton frowned. "Then why would you bring him to me?" Before she could answer, a small figure slipped past her. A young black boy, barefoot and clothed in dusty, oversized pants and a frayed beige jacket. His hair was uncombed, his hands smudged with dirt. "Hey!" Alton stood, alarmed. But the boy didn't run or panic. He walked straight up to the bed and looked down at Lily, his eyes soft and focused, as if he'd known her all his life. Alton moved to stop him, but something about the boy's calmness rooted him in place. The boy gently reached out, brushing a lock of Lily's golden hair from her face. And then he said it. "I know how to make your daughter wake up." The room went dead quiet. Alton blinked. "What did you just say?" The boy didn't look away. "She's not gone. She's waiting, but she needs someone to guide her back." Alton let out a bitter laugh, the kind that holds more pain than humor. "You think you can do what 10 doctors and $1 million couldn't?" The boy didn't flinch. "I'm not a doctor. I just listen." "To what? Spirits? Visions?" The boy looked at him then, right in the eyes. His voice was low. "To the Lord." Alton's face hardened. "This is a hospital, not a church." "She doesn't need a hospital," the boy whispered. "She needs hope." Alton shook his head, stepping forward. "All right, that's enough. This is cruel. She's in a coma. Her brain's shut down. You can't just walk in here with your stories and—" But then it happened. The heart monitor blipped. A small, unexpected spike. Alton froze. He glanced at the nurse. "Was that—" She nodded, eyes wide. The boy leaned closer, placing his small hand gently against Lily's forehead. His thumb wiped a tear from the corner of her eye. "She's afraid," he whispered. "She heard the sirens, felt the mask, but she doesn't know if she's safe yet." He turned to Alton. "She needs to hear your voice, not the one you use for business, the one she remembers when you tucked her in." Alton stood, stunned. His voice caught in his throat. The boy nodded toward the bed. "Call her back." I I don't know how." "Yes, you do," the boy said, stepping back. "She's waiting." Alton slowly moved forward, sitting beside Lily, gripping her small hand. He lowered his head, and for the first time in 5 days, he wept. "I'm here, Lily," he whispered through tears. "Daddy's right here. You don't have to be afraid anymore. Come home, baby. Please come home." The nurse covered her mouth. The boy simply stood in silence, his hands folded in front of him. The monitor spiked again, longer this time, and then, faintly, so faintly it could have been imagined, Lily's lips trembled. Alton gasped. "Did you see that?" The nurse ran to her side. Her eyelids twitched. I swear they moved. The boy turned to Alton, his voice calm and steady. "Tomorrow, same time. I'll be back." And before anyone could stop him, he was gone, just like that, leaving behind a silent room, a stunned father, and a child whose fingers had just curled ever so slightly around her blanket. Alton Reeves didn't sleep that night. He sat in the corner of the hospital room, eyes fixed on the monitor beside his daughter's bed. Lily's numbers had held steady all evening. No drops, no spikes, except for those 2 brief moments after the strange boy touched her forehead. Moments he still couldn't explain. Moments he didn't want to believe. And yet he couldn't stop thinking about it. The boy had left without a word, barefoot and silent, disappearing into the hallway like he had never been there. Alton didn't even know his name, but he remembered his words. "She's afraid. She needs your voice, the one she remembers." It haunted him, because deep down, Alton knew he hadn't spoken to his daughter like that in a long time, not since the accident, not since the pressure of his work had turned every moment with her into one more thing on his schedule. Next weekend, he had always said. Soon. Now soon had become too late, or so he thought. The next day, at precisely the same hour, Alton stood by Lily's side again. He didn't call security, he didn't ask questions. He simply waited. And just as the clock struck 12:15 p.m., the door opened with a soft creak. There he was, the same black boy, dressed in the same dusty jacket, eyes as steady as before. But today, his face was different, calmer, even gentler. Alton stepped forward. You came back." The boy nodded. "I said I would." He walked past Alton without hesitation, approaching the bed again. He reached out, this time not to her forehead, but to her hand. Her fingers were still, but her color had returned, subtly. Her lips weren't as pale. The weight in the room didn't feel as heavy. Alton leaned closer. "What do you want me to do?" The boy didn't answer immediately. Then he said, "Just speak from where it hurts." Alton didn't know how to do that, not in business, not in fatherhood. But he sat down anyway, took Lily's other hand, and closed his eyes. And for the first time in his life, he let it out. "Lily, I'm sorry," he whispered. "I should have spent more time with you. Should have picked you up that day instead of sending the driver. You were so excited for your recital. I heard the first few lines before the call came in, and I never forgave myself for answering it instead of watching you." His voice broke. "I would give anything to trade places with you right now, but I can't. I can only ask for you to come back, so I can be the father I should have been all along." A tear fell onto her hand. The boy stood silently by her side. Then he whispered, "She hears you." And then Lily stirred. Her eyes fluttered, her lips parted, and in the faintest, softest voice she murmured, "Daddy?" Alton nearly collapsed. He clutched her hand, gasping, "I'm here, baby. I'm right here." Her eyes opened fully. Her face turned toward his. "Where were you?" "I never left," he whispered, sobbing. "I'm so sorry." Her little hand squeezed his. Alton turned to the boy. "How did you? Who are you?" The boy stared at him for a long moment, then smiled. "I'm just someone who listens when others don't." Alton shook his head. "But how did you know? Why her?" The boy turned toward the light outside the window. "I didn't know her," he said, "but I know what it's like to feel forgotten." He began walking toward the door. "Wait," Alton called. "Can I help you?" "Anything you need, please, name it." The boy paused, then turned. "I already have what I need." "What's that?" He smiled. "Faith." And then he was gone. Alton ran out into the hallway, but the boy had vanished. No footprints, no name, no record of anyone entering, just Lily, awake, alive, holding his hand. That night, as she drifted into real sleep for the first time in days, Alton sat quietly beside her bed. He pulled a notebook from his briefcase and wrote down 3 words, words he had once dismissed, words that now lived in his heart. Speak from pain. The next morning, Alton walked out of the hospital and gave a press conference. Only instead of talking about the medical team, he told the story of a nameless boy who brought his daughter back not with tools, but with truth. They called it a miracle. But Alton knew better. It was a message. And maybe, just maybe, it was the first time in his life he actually listened. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.